In this educational film presentation, we will be discussing the visual design and significant elements that have been used intentionally to create the 2015 movie Project Almanac. Here's our first look.
Where's Adam?
Yo, where's Adam?
Where's Adam?
Adam?
What the hell?
Please tell me you got that. Please tell me you got all of that.
Wait,
You all right, buddy? We're okay. We're okay.
did it work? Where's the car?
Okay?
Where's the car?
Well, if it worked, it's not gonna be here till we drive it here tomorrow. Look at this. Look.
Holy shit.
David, we need to see if this really worked.
Wait, I got an idea. Yeah, I got a sick idea.
Let's go.
Why? My neighbor's dog is a beast.
Why are we going in your house?
Just trust me. Seriously, this is what we're doing. Just, my mom's asleep. Just don't wake her. I want to see if this works. Have you guys ever seen the movie Looper?
No.
God, I love that movie.
What are we doing here? It's cool.
I know it's sick, right? Watch this. Watch
No,
this.
no, no.
Shh, stop.
Don't be careful. You guys, shh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Get that. Get that. Oh my god, this is so cool. Oh my god.
Oh my guys, waking up, guys, waking up.
What?
Oh my God, what's happening? We gotta get him out of here. It was a crazy feedback loop.
You okay?
I'm
You
all right, I'm okay.
Wait, you disappeared for a second.
I think we should get out of here.
Yeah, we should get out of here. Let's go.
We did it. We really did it.
It's yesterday.
It's yesterday.
It's yesterday!
Oh, shit! Run!
Trying!
Run!
David's coming! David, take us back! David, hit the button! Come back, David!
John, get close! Get close! Hey!
Something that is brought on by the found footage style presented in Project Almanac is the sense of immersion that the film gives the audience, with elements such as the characters talking directly to the camera while documenting everything going on around them. It allows the viewer to feel more connected to each of the characters, almost as if we, the audience, are also part of the story ourselves, taking in the emotion of each story beat and progressing alongside the main cast. With this almost first-person view of the story, we're able to view the world and its events through the perspective of the characters, reacting with them as the plot unfolds and partaking in their newfound experiences. Even if it's just in the form of a spectator, we're able to view the world in an almost first-person perspective, really being able to engage with the story in a more visual sense. The color choice and lighting design also play a role in this film, changing as the story progresses, or more specifically, with the farther back the characters go and mess with time. During their first time travel attempt in the selected scene, there's a strong emphasis on primary colors, with yellow, red, and blue lights being mostly present within each sequence, as well as in the characters' outfits and even in a few of the props and set pieces. And with each time they jump back and each timeline gets messed with in some way, shape, or form, the lighting becomes more and more brighter, brightening up the colors and creating even more contrast, with the process of time travel becoming more and more clear and easier to see, but also with the uncertainty of the consequences of their actions still following suit in the shadows. The colors also change throughout the film as well, getting cooler and cooler the farther the characters travel back in time. The final scenes where the film's protagonist David travels back to his 7th birthday are significantly cooler than their first time travel sequence, where the colors are a lot more warmer in comparison. The same could be said with the lighting, as it's relatively much lower with shadows that not only obviously show that it's night in the first sequence, but also showing the uncertainty of this new experience brought on by the characters, compared to the much brighter light in the final sequences, showing just how much trouble the protagonists put themselves in the end. This showing that the viewer is not only able to keep up with the story's narrative through dialogue and obvious visual cues, but also in a more subtle way through the use of colors and lighting. Since the characters are recording everything with a handheld camera, according to the film, this does mean that the camera is never fully still, always moving either very slightly or very rapidly depending on the pacing and the events that are taking place within each scene. Unless, of course, it's one of those few moments where the camera is placed down on a flat surface. The movement of the camera both in our selected scene and in the rest of the film not only allow for the viewer to be more naturally directed to specific visual elements, but also adds on to the overall energy and pacing. As Project Almanac is more of a fast-paced film, the quick camera movements add to it, further engaging the audience into the film's narrative as well as moving the story along in general. The handheld camera also ties in and further adds to the immersion of the audience into the film, with the camera movement as well as the framing of each shot, with most shots being taken at eye level and framed to be more closer with each subject. This in turn allowing the audience to be more engaged with each character and the environment around them, as well as the overall narrative, which in turn proves to be beneficial considering the found footage style of filmmaking Project Almanac uses to tell its story.
One of the most important aspects for the visual design of Project Almanac is the use of visual effects. The characters interact with other versions of themselves when they time travel, and the scene we went over portrays how when one thing happens to the character in the past, it happens to them in the present. The characters visually affect each other when they are aware of themselves in different time frames, and the editors used repetitive or mirroring choices for audio as well as lighting flickering and rapid disappearing filters to show that the characters cannot exist at the same time when they encounter each other. The camera POV glitches to show how technology is also affected by this. In this scene, we see that one character is in the same time frame as another version of her, but they do not affect each other visually because they have not encountered each other, allowing them more room to exist in the same time frame. This is another example in the film where a character encounters another version of herself as she's gone back in time with her boyfriend. We can hear the dialogue repeating as her and another version of herself collide. She begins to disappear just like we saw earlier with their friend, but this time they both disappear completely because they didn't disconnect that interaction. The camera once again appears affected by the mistake in time by glitching as well. This is a scene from the beginning of the movie that shows how the visual effects are used with the inanimate objects around them as they try to finish piecing together the time machine. Objects begin to deny gravity and are reactive to another force, causing them to spin and change shape. It seems only a certain number or certain types of material are affected by the time machine starting. You can see the set design is altered where the table shakes too, and the water in the glass forms a tornado-like spiral within itself. Even a liquid used for the machine visually forms a mind of its own since it isn't in a container. It's definitely a kiki shape. One of the friends interacts with the machine, and this appears similar to the effect that is used when the characters interact with other versions of themselves, because his hand molds unique shapes and fades in movement. The machine then dies on them because it was just the first trial run, but the editors choose to bring the camera back into the scene as a prop by showing it getting sprayed by the liquid, affecting the shot's filter of the scene as if the lens is wet. The visual effects design towards the end of the movie portrays what it looks like to be much farther back in time. The main character encounters his dad, and we haven't seen this glitch with characters interacting with people when having time traveled before, but I believe they did this because they haven't figured out how to go back in time very far in an efficient and successful way. So the blocking moves to different places as the scene still plays smoothly cut. These next examples of the visual effects used cover the specific look of the characters time traveling. The camera spins just as the objects were when they started the machine, and it glitches the shot the most when traveling. We can see that everything within a certain radius no longer stays still. The leaves blow around, the trash denies gravity, and their car even reverses as its lights and horn go off. The camera acts as another person in the circle of the friends as it catches them reacting to their first time travel. This scene is right before the one we showed in the beginning. One of the visual effects that is my favorite is when one of the friends reaches to see the boundary of the time machine's radius where his hand appears to be pulled by a layer of wind. The lighting actually explodes instead of only flickering, and the slow-mo reminds the audience of warping time. Another unique choice for the design was to change sound to a ringing with reverb to show the characters in the camera being affected by the time travel. They slowly begin to hear clearly as they adjust to their new setting. This is another example of the friends time traveling under the bleachers as they go back to spend the day at Lollapalooza. The leaves, the rocks, the dirt, and the stopwatch all become affected by the force of the machine. We also see pieces of the friends' memories of the concert before they even happen in the film to connect to the effects of altering time. In this scene, towards the end of the movie, the main character goes back in time by 10 years completely alone. The lights hanging in the room, trash, papers, and dirt are gusted with a force, and the time jolts into slow-mo to prove once again the effect of time being manipulated. The police are flown back to show that they are affected just as much as the object since they are out of the radius to travel. This being the largest travel in time, the memories from earlier are all affected as the main character is going back to erase it all. At the end of the movie, the machine is destroyed, so this is the last time travel visual effect. The fire moves like split animation stills, and the main character begins to fade because it's being destroyed before this version of him existed. As the film has moved forward, the essence of everything becomes more and more deconstructed.
You guys ready for this?
Check out my ass.
Yeah.
Stay out of my perfume. But actually, meet you before the world ends. I have to fall in love.
I love you.